Hey guys, this is LB, and you're listening to Love, Sex, and Lies. Tonight, I'm back with Jeremy.
Hey.
Kesha.
Hey, what's up?
And we are talking all things relationship part 2. So at the end of part 1, we touched on Derek Jackson and his cheating ways and men and women as a whole, but we tend to talk more about Derek.
Men. We was tending to talk about men.
Jeremy.
And so since I'm on this podcast, I'm going to make sure I speak for the men and make sure that we get our voices out there.
So we're going to switch gears.
So we switching gears to at least talk about these women and their conniving ways of cheating.
I can't. So we do know that men are not the only ones to cheat. We are not on Love, Sex, and Lies talking about all men cheat. We know that's not true. And we're not bashing men. We just Derek just happened to be a really great topic right now. So it just had us open doors to that conversation, which was great. But we do know that women cheat as well.
Yeah.
And that's not something new. And, sometimes some people would even say that women are better at it.
Well,
what do you guys think?
I will, confess. I have been a cheater. I did cheat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were talking about something that said, and you saw a statistic that said something about men and women and their cheating differences. For me, I was a punk. I will admit, I will own my shit. I should have ended the relationship before I started a new one, but I was just so... I was a punk. I was a coward. I didn't want to hurt the guy's feelings. I didn't really want to, and I think he knew. I did everything. Like, I'm one of those people who, like, I show you my ass, like, give you the worst and make you want to not mess with me. You know what I'm talking about? As opposed to just being bossing up and being courageous enough to say, you know what? I don't like you.
Right.
As opposed, I want you to try to make you not like me.
Right.
So,
you did not like.
Oh, she playing hard to get.
Right, but you did not like him, right?
No, I loved him. I loved him so much that I didn't want to hurt him. I loved him. So this is why I can understand sometimes where guys say, I ain't know how to tell you, da-da-da. However, I knew that I didn't want to be with him. Mm-hmm. And I could have said that. And I think that would have been more sympathetic, more giving him more of a chance to do his own thing. But for me, I think I was being selfish in that I wanted to do what was comfortable for me.
And that's usually the case.
That's exactly what it was.
Yes.
I did love him. I do love him still. And what really made me, because he was very much into me. And I had to just say, hey, you think I'm the best thing since sliced bread? I'm some shit. I've been cheating on you. I did, I had to just tell you because I cared about him too much. Like, Sam, you deserve somebody who loves you like you love me.
I can appreciate that.
That's really what made me get to the point where, no, I cannot. I cannot. And this is what, like, for people, I'm not going to say men or women. This is for people. This is why it becomes your integrity. I can own the fact I was a punk. It was me.
Yeah.
He ain't do nothing. He was great.
Mm-hmm. He
loved me. I loved him. But then I stopped loving him.
But then someone...
In that way. Because I still love him as a friend. Like, we've been friends since teenage years. Yeah. So I love him as a friend. But he didn't... The stars that he would get in his eyes when he saw me, I didn't get those stars when I saw him. So he deserves somebody that did give him those stars. I mean, that they see stars when they see him.
Some will question that, is it love? Like, is it really love? Do you love that person that, if you're cheating on them, do you really love them? Can you love them and still be cheating on them?
Absolutely.
I disagree.
Because let me say this. Let me tell you why I say. Because I know that it was my cowardice that didn't allow me to be honest with him. However, that cowardice was based on the love that I had for him. I did not want to see him hurt. So that was the love that I had for him. I didn't want to see him hurt. That's like, I don't know if that sounds arrogant or whatever, but I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to see him hurt. And that was the love. Like, you don't want to hurt your kid. You don't want to see nobody hurt. You don't want to, like, if somebody don't have...
But it's that love, though, Kesha. I don't know. I disagree. Because you care about someone. Yes, you care deeply for him. I don't think that I would ever use the word love and cheating in the same... No, I think
to this day.
I'm sure you do as a friend.
I love him too much to continue to deceive him.
Yeah.
I love him too much.
I think that was great that you did that.
I thought that he deserved a love. I loved him enough to know that he deserved love.
Absolutely. No,
so maybe you're right. So maybe it wasn't love. Maybe my shit was just super cared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And he deserved love.
You strongly liked him.
I don't know, but I really did want him to have what he saw in me, and I wasn't able to give because I don't see that in you. Because
I think people do strongly like people.
Yeah.
I think they get into a relationship with people they strongly like.
And it could be comfort,
I don't think
too.
it is comfort. It's different reasons.
Level.
Like if you're getting something from them, maybe she doesn't argue or he doesn't argue, or maybe he's more attentive than the other person. So they're giving you something. You strongly like them, but you don't love them enough to be faithful. Like, you'll be in a relationship with them because I strongly. You didn't want to be with them, but sometimes people do it and they get into it. Like, I'll get in a relationship with you because I strongly like you, and maybe it'll grow to love. But if I'm constantly cheating on you, that's not love to me.
Yeah, no.
And to me, you can care about a person that you cheat. I think I don't even know if you care. You strongly like. I'm going to use Jeremy word. You strongly like that person because you strongly liked him enough that in the end you respected him enough to come clean and say, hey, I care about you. Right, eventually.
Well, not before I try to do everything. I'm like, you don't like me, look at me. Right. So I would go out on the whole weekend, you know what I'm talking about? Like, to give you a reason to, like, you don't want a bride who stay out all weekend, don't answer your calls and da-da-da. Oh, you cool with that? So this is how I can see how men will continue to cheat and continue because if she ain't saying nothing,
right, you giving a pass.
Like, oh, it's obviously cool.
Yeah.
So now you're going to do most stuff.
Yeah.
And most, you know what I mean? And then you may turn yourself into a different kind of person. Yeah. So for me, I didn't want to be that asshole. Right. I didn't want to be the person who just, is just playing with your heart, doing this over, leading you down a path right here when I know I got intentions over there.
Right.
I could not, in good conscience, do that to another human being. I felt like I wanted you. I was just sticking with you long enough. You don't like this. You don't like this, do you? You don't want me no more. And that never happened. So that's what made me like, okay, you know what? You can't wait for somebody else to do what you want to do.
Right. Which is in the end.
Which is, I didn't want to cheat. I wanted to not be with him anymore.
Right. And you bossed up and you told him, which is the right thing.
But that's not always the case.
No.
Sometimes people cheat and still want to be with their person. They just want to have a little something on the side.
Absolutely.
That wasn't my situation, but that,
Right.
That's a whole different,
because you're right. You're not ready.
That's a whole different kind of cowardice.
Right. Absolutely. Because you don't want to boss up. You just want to have your cake and eat it.
That's right. And you're not giving anybody an opportunity to.
My thing with men, I always say, don't take my options away. That's any guy who has ever dated me in the past 5-10 years. No, I always say, do not take my options away. Let me decide what I'm willing to do and how far I'm willing to go. Don't tell me one thing and it's something else. You know what I'm saying? I dated a guy, and I don't like that. Don't tell me one thing. Don't tell me if I can tell you. Yes, when we meet, I don't want a relationship. I have a friend, and that's it. And you should be able to tell me the same. Don't tell me you got a friend when you're in a relationship.
And
don't take my options away.
I understand that things change throughout the evolution of a relationship. However, I think that you're right. Be honest and give the appropriate options. And when things do change, you gotta have another conversation.
Right. Gotta have that conversation. You gotta have another conversation.
Even like with this day and age, I think for as a guy's perspective, you can be open and honest with women nowadays and just tell them straight up, like, I don't want to be in committed relationship. I just want to have sex. On a regular.
High five me, Jeremy. High five me, Jeremy.
But you know what's funny about that? You can start off like that, but bras will have in the back of their mind
sometimes.
I'm going to change him.
From the guy's perspective, my thing is,
but you still should start off honest.
As long as you keep it 100 and say what you want, you can get threesomes. You can get
pretty much whatever you want. You just have to open your mouth.
Yeah,
if you open your mouth, like LB is saying, like you can say like, don't close my doors, don't close my options. So you don't necessarily know what that person's willing to do if you don't present it.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, like, that's what we have to do is just be open and honest. And at the end of what most women don't like is the dishonesty.
Absolutely. Absolutely right.
But with that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you have to give what you're willing to give.
You have some women that you can be honest with, switching those gears.
Hear what they want to hear.
Hear what they want to hear, and they also on their own agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can have a great guy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
A person that's like a straight shooter, and like, I want, a Kesha type of guy where it's like, I'm looking for somebody that's going to dog me out. I want somebody that's going to be like, nah, because it's really and truly, it's intriguing when somebody don't want you. Regardless of what people want to say, like, when somebody really don't want you, it's like, why don't they want me? So like, that gets you.
You're right about that, Jeremy.
That gets you like,
hey, you don't understand how many jokers I done got off the what?
Yeah, they're like, oh, you don't want me? You You're
who is you?
Like,
who is you?
Now they going
now
back.
You gotta show me who you is.
Right.
And show me something.
Right. And so that's what they do. They go into a situation where like now I gotta go back to the drawing board and like how do I approach this situation? And so like with that situation, you got females, talking to, muscle bound dudes, you know what I'm saying? It might be an intellectual guy, whatever it is. And like I said, with me personally, like it's always about filling voids. And if you don't have those conversations, you're always gonna have voids that aren't met if you don't speak on it. And so women in that sense, not putting on the guys because we're not gonna bash guys on my watch. But with that,
niggas ain't shit. No. Just kidding. I love you guys.
With that, it's just like understanding the fact that the communication always has to be open, but at the same time, but you're not being able to, for lack of better words, do whatever is necessary in your relationship. Somebody always going to step out and fill that void, or test those waters to fill that void and see if that's what they want. But at the end of the day, if they don't, because that's 9 times out of 10, a filling a void isn't a holistic person.
It's just a minuscule part of it.
It's a crumb of the cake.
It could be a person who just focuses on that 10% that you lacking in your relationship. Because it's a joker who only do that 10%. That's his whole thing is the 10%. Absolutely. But then you get with that joker and you're getting this 10%.
10%.
And so a whole 90 on the other side.
Yeah.
So I am a married man now, recently married. I think like a year. Not so much yet. Not a year yet. No. But so back in the
cheers to the marriage.
Cheers to the marriage.
Cheers to new marriage.
And so back in the day, I used to really look at the psychological approach. So like my thing is like literally looking at the woman and seeing like how she moves and stuff like that. And so my thing is you always approach what they're given. If they're like, oh, I'm gonna allow you to do this, you keep doing whatever you want to do. If she is a little bit more restricting, then you kind of like play the cards that way. But at the end of the day, I think that's just what it comes down to. Like anybody is allowing the behaviors to continue is not the one for you. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, if you start to see those red flags and those cautions, you need to be able to address them in a moment.
Now if your favorite color is red, I'm just saying.
But if his favorite color red, you might be messing with a bull and you in some trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's one of those things like you have to understand how to
maneuver within your relationship. No, you're absolutely right about that, Jeremy. And like you said, with the favorite color red, if you got a bull right there, you need to be able to get around that shit. You need to be pink for a little bit till you get up in his face and be red. Like, see what the fuck, you know what I mean? It's all about the person who you're with. You have to know how to communicate within the confines of your relationship.
Absolutely.
You have to watch them, like you said, watch what they do, understand them psychologically, how they move and things like that, and how you can best get across your point. Because sometimes you could just go at certain people, just go directly. Some people ain't gonna receive it like that. Some people, you get offended, and they're not even listening to what you're saying. They're like, oh, you don't like me, so you have to figure out with your person how you can best express your needs or wants or whatever that is in the way that it can be the best received.
Because someone like me, I'm very direct, so not everyone can handle my personality. This is true, right? Men. Friendships, it doesn't matter. I'm still that direct person.
But you're going to be that person, and whoever going to deal with you, they're going to have to be able to deal with the direct person. You don't got to change yourself.
I'm not going to.
They got to figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, and I'm not going to. I'm never going to change who I am, and I'm never going to.
And the person that's for you is not going to need that.
They're not going to absolutely not. They're not going to require that. They're going to know. Absolutely. They're going to appreciate the strong personality that I present. So it's just like what you were saying, Jeremy, you just got to know what you want, where you're going in your relationship. Every relationship, like we said, is different. Women, we're different. Yes, women and men, we're different, but at the same time, they both cheat. For different reasons.
Everybody we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God.
Absolutely. So, Jeremy... So we all have fallen. Well, not
we all.
It's totally short. And the thing,
we're born into
sin, right? So no sin, no one sin is
no big sin, little sin. Is all
no sin is greater than the other.
Absolutely, perfect. We're all
so we all
perfect.
There you go.
There you go.
Progress.
So Jeremy was telling us before we logged back on, Jeremy was telling us how he saw on Nightly Pop.
Yeah, I just was seeing how it was so intriguing that I saw a statistic of how intriguing and how manipulative, women could be. The mere fact that it's the mere fact that it's a statistic out there, and I might not have the numbers accurate, but it's 50 to 60% of women cheat solely off of the lack thereof sleep.
That's
so
interesting that they said
that.
I don't know how to get